Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading satellite office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Tuesday, October the 9th, 2012, and here is today's After the Bell market summary. I want to first start by taking a look to see how the indices closed today. The Dow Jones closed down 110 points. The Nasdaq closed down 47.33, and the S&P 500 closed down close to 14.5 points. Weakest index across the board today was the Nasdaq, was down 1.52% as the technology sector was the weakest sector today, along with the retail sector. Then the financials. If we take a look at the breadth today, was definitely in favor of the bears. We had 4,899 issues, 99 issues declining, and we had 1,337 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So bears definitely got a point today on the bear game scorecard. So let's take a look at the SPY here. You can see that the SPY so far is holding the highs that we made from back here on September. What day was this here? September the 14th. All right, and we got that reversal today off this key trend line that I want to show you guys. This key trend line comes all the way from March. All right here from this prior channel that was forming before we broke down. All right, and that's why I say it's very important to keep key trend lines that are relevant on your charts until they just don't become relevant no more because price action just moves away from them or whatever the case may be. But either way, you can see here that we so far have been respecting that little reversal top high. We tried to break out last Friday and we miserably failed from whether the jobs numbers were fluffed or not, or whether it was time to just plain and simple sell. As you know, I believe that the jobs number were fluffed and that they were fake, and so far the price action in the market probably believes the same. So anyway, that's another story. Let's take a look at the price action here. You can see that the SPY got a nice close below the short-term moving averages, that being the 8 EMA, 8 SMA, 20 EMA, 20 SMA, and next target looks to be the 50 SMA, which is right down here at 142.58, which is also going to line up with some nice support in this area. So I definitely would think there would be some buying opportunities off the first test of that trend line off that moving average, as we haven't been around that moving average since back here. We haven't really kind of like close to touched it since back here in August, around this August 2nd or so. So that looks like a very interesting area to watch. Also, we have the key support from this trend line right here that's going to line up around that same 142 area. So definitely think we see some lower prices tomorrow, but then remember, don't fall in love with the downside and try to pick up some stocks that you like, that you're basically looking for buying opportunities in that you missed when they made a nice move up when the market was going up right here, or if they made a nice move up when the market was going up right here and they're back at those levels from before when they broke out, if they broke out on that September the 6th date. So let's take a look at the triple Qs. All right, now this is where this is what raises a red flag right here, because the triple Qs had some nice sell side volume today. I mean, some heavy sell side volume today. Look at that volume, guys. The biggest volume spike we have seen since back here since July. Okay, to the downside, breaking below the moving averages, breaking below the 68, holding below the 68, 65 level that we've been tracking, breaking below 67.5, which was the bottom of the base before we broke out right back here on September the 4th. We started moving to this top side that week. And now the next support level really doesn't look to be until around 66.37. Below 66.37, we're looking at about 65. Then we break 65, we have this moving average right here, the 200-day simple moving average. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because, you know, this is just really I would say this is kind of like the second potent day that we had to the sell side, aside from Friday's action and this action right here. You can see these are the big emotional, these are basically the big emotional candlesticks right here. You know, these carry a lot of weight. All right, and especially this one since it had volume. So be careful with the Qs. If we break below today's low, which I believe we will, because the futures are already down. The futures are already down. I believe that we will sell down towards this 66.5 level. So that's level to watch on the Qs for the next support level. If we get back above 67.50 and we hold above 67.50 tomorrow, and we catch a bid in the market, then we could probably trade back up towards 68. You know, it's going to be very important to see what the bulls want to do here on the Qs, but the Qs are definitely looking weak. I mean, you do have this trend line that you could draw in as well that can come into play. All right, and that's going to be around the 65 half level. All right, let's take a look at the IWM. The IWM did a fake breakout last week. I was involved in that. I did have the TNA calls. They were up a nice amount. I didn't sell them, and I had to dump them out at the end of the day when we closed on lows because I was like, I'm not holding this thing overnight because we could gap down. And, so far the action was a gap down on Monday, and so far it's been weak. So this is not a good sign. All right, and one thing I could do right here, which I forgot to do on the Qs, is turn this red so we know that's a resistance zone. And unless we get back above, say, 83.5 and start catching some bids, I'm not looking to buy the IWM. We are right here at the 50-day simple moving average. But just like the Qs, the IWM could break through it, and it probably will break through it. And, next support level really is until like around 81. You can see we remain back inside this channel now from the original channel line that we had. And you can see the very nice little failed breakout. I like to call it a bull trap. And that's playing out. Now let's take a look at the ES real quick. All right, I took off all the channels because I just want to show you guys a clean price chart real quick. And you can see here that the next support level on the ES S&P 500 futures is around 1420, and this is the range that we're trading in, around 1460. Now, if I show you guys the channel system, how the channel system's looking, right? Remember, we had this. Let me zoom in here. We had this little failed breakout. Right, we had this little breakdown, shook some shorts in, for, like a week and a half, for about the past week and a half. Washed the shorts out last week, squeezed them out, suckered the longs in on Friday, and now squeezed them out. So you can see the volatility is definitely starting to pick up. And now if we call it that we're in this channel right here, all right, we can see that the ES, we'll call it that we're in this little big channel right here between these price levels. Okay, I know it's kind of a lot of lines here, but bear with me. You can basically see the action though, right? Up, down. If that's a price action, well, then we're looking for another downside movement back towards this lower area down here around 1420. That's why I'm getting that price target. And it also lines up with the moving average. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. Take a look at Apple. Let's go take a look at some stocks now. Apple had a nice little bounce today, close to that 620 support level. Actually, I believe it hit a low of 623.5, and put a nice little hammer in on the 5-minute, and then buyers came right back in and bought it up pretty nice. So that's, Apple was the catalyst for most of the selling pressure that took place in the morning because Apple just continued to sell. Take a look at the 5-minute chart. You can see this thing was just selling. After it's been going down, for the past couple of sessions so far, it just continues to act weak. So what else did I want to take a look at with you guys? The retail sector is looking weak. All right, you guys could take a look at UA. This stock looks ugly. Take a look at Starbucks. This stock looks ugly. We've been talking about Starbucks to our followers to watch it hold them below 49, and so far this thing looks to go lower. Watch Starbucks if it breaks 47, guys. You could get some nice action in there. I was actually eyeing the puts. I actually bought some puts in Intel today, and the reason for that is the semiconductor sector, which I've been talking about a lot on my Twitter stream. If you're not following me on my Twitter stream, you can follow me at Ask Chris He Trade. Basically, Ask Chris He Trades without the S. Now, you can see here the semis are the weakest sector, one of the weakest sectors out there. If anything, is the weakest sector out there. All right, because a lot of sectors haven't bounced. Well, the transports were weak as well, but they got a bounce last week, so they've been trying to hold up. But those are starting to get back a little bit as well. Anyway, the semiconductor stocks were the index broke above this 390 level. You can see it was holding above that level for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Broke down 2 weeks ago. Got a nice little bounce to back test the prior support, right, which is now resistance. Put the nice reversal candlestick in there on Friday, inverted hammer against a resistance level, and has been selling off since. Look for the semiconductor stocks to trade lower, and I believe it's because Intel, Intel has earnings next week, and that stock is definitely looking weak going into those numbers, and had a nice little gap down today, and I believe you will get some nice continuation in that. So I bought the 23 weekly strike puts on this one here, and I'll be looking to hold those and cover them on Friday, maybe roll them over. We'll see. But one thing I was mentioning to some of the people in the chat room, and if you have not been to our chat room yet, the chat room is mywallstreettv.com. Password to log in is SMART, S-M-A-R-T. One thing I mentioned to them was that notice how this stock Intel has been trading this nice little channel right here to the downside. Remember, channels can form at different slopes, horizontal, whatever. But notice how this is a channel, and the Intel is trading this channel, right? channel, and then boom, it broke down today. Okay, same thing if you had a horizontal channel. All right, didn't go to the top. Didn't go to the top of the channel. Put a smaller low in, and then broke down. This is the same type of setup. It's just at a slight angle. So this is not good. Now the semis look like they want to go lower. Take a look at SNDK. SNDK still has some support from the moving average, but take a look at Qualcomm, which I like to watch as a good gauge in the semiconductor sector. Look at Qualcomm. Qualcomm, breaking below all the 50, the 20, the 8, and closed right below the 200-day simple today. The only thing holding up right now on a moving average basis is the 200-day exponential on the daily around 59.73, which I think we touch that tomorrow. And if we close below it, that will be even more bearish. But you can see the volumes picking up to the sell side. So semiconductor stocks are weak, and I like to watch the semiconductor sector because that's a good sign of growth. To track the growth and to see what's going on globally. Is there's a lot of chips that go in, a lot of different products that we use on a daily basis, a lot of equipment, and a lot of our daily necessities, cell phones, computers, everything. You guys get what I'm trying to say. So definitely watch the semiconductor sector. That whole sector looks weak. The banks that pulled in a little bit today. Goldman Sachs held up. Let's take a look at some of them. J.P. Morgan pulled in a little bit. Take a look at Bank of America. Bank of America, pulled in a little bit but recovered. So just, I'm not really expecting some heavy sell side action. Not yet until we get some more clues. But if we start holding below 1420 on the ES and the Qs continue and the Nasdaq and the technology stocks continues to sell, we could have something, bigger than we expected here and catching people off sides. And take a look at the volatility chart that I've been talking about in the weekly videos. I remember how I was talking how this $13 level down here has been holding as a bid, ever since the market was trying to push up to sideways like about 3 weeks ago, and the volatility index wasn't breaking down below 13 and going to the bottom channel where it should have done. So therefore, we had a nice little move up to the top side, got rejected from the top, got rejected at the top of the channel. Sold all the way back to 13. Buyers came in and bought the volatility index on Friday, and now we're moving higher. Nice strong candle. Guys, if this volatility index breaks this nice little downward channel, I think we could see a nice pop up towards 18. Nice little quick spike in volatility. And, that's what you want to be on the lookout for. And I find it funny that they did a reverse split on the VXX. Now it's priced at 35. Now you're going to get nice dollar number movements instead of pennies like you were getting on the VXX. Who's going to make a lot of money during that with the volatility spikes of these things start moving up dollars? Well, computers are going to start making a lot of money, and a couple of traders that are good that know how to trade, know how to trade the volatility index without getting chopped up. So just want to bring that to mind. That's kind of off topic, but look for a spike in the volatility index. Take a look at the dollar futures. Been talking about how the dollar futures was trading this little downward channel, and as long as it holds below this downward channel, it looks bearish. But now guess what? We got a nice close on that key trend line today on the dollar futures chart, and now we're actually gapping above that trend line, and we could have maybe another nice update tomorrow on the dollar up towards these moving averages around 80.62. I will definitely be watching that level tomorrow. And if we gap up, if the dollar trades up overnight and the market continues to sell down and the dollar futures opens up right there, I want to see if it holds up, or if it's going to start selling off little by little during the day, and that means they'll start buying the market if the market was to gap down. Different scenarios that I have planned out, and I'm thinking about. So if it does happen, I know how to be proactive and not reactive. All right, so that's about it, guys. Just wanted to end the video with that analysis there. I think it was some pretty good stuff, and I think we have a lot of action that we're going to have on our hands tomorrow. So trade them safe, and I'll catch you guys in the chat room tomorrow at 8:30. That is mywallstreettv.com. Password to log in is SMART. Have a good night, guys.